This right here is the crypt that we need to go into. The new class is a pretty cool concept. Hey guys, Frostborn just came out with a new update, and the main thing in this update is pets. There's a lot of stuff. I'm going to show you everything in this video so that you understand, basically everything that's in this update. But the main thing you need to know is this pet store. Once you get a pet, you can come talk to this guy. There's a couple things to know about pets. The first thing is that you need to get experience. So actually, I'm going to go into my inbox, show this bat. The bat at level 1, or the skeleton bat, has 2% more armor. I was able to level it up 3 times. I got a little book that gave me plus 500% experience, and then I just marked a zone a ton of times, and marks give experience to the bat. So definitely this update has quite a bit of pay to win aspects to it. I'm sorry, you're gonna see it a lot. I didn't make it, I'm just reporting on it. There's definitely some pay to win aspects to it. Obviously you can get experience over time, but day one some people are just gonna spend a crazy amount of money and get a maxed out animal, and they're gonna be they're gonna have a big advantage over you. But eventually you keep working at it, you'll be able to catch up. I hope. So there's only 4 bats, or there's 4 animals for 4 classes. So you got the Alchemist, and unfortunately it's one of the weakest animals, the armor is incredible, actually, because I don't know how many levels you can get a pet up to, but you're getting 2% armor each time, so that's pretty good for the Alchemist. But then they buff the skills of those characters. So for example, with the Alchemist, well, actually I'm not going to show you that because I want to show you in the pet store. It'll be a little more clear. The owl is for the Sorcerer. It's very powerful. It's going to make the Sorcerer, I think we might start seeing some Sorcerers in play. And then we're going to have the Parrot, which is for the Hunter. It's okay, it's pretty good. And then the bat, I think, is completely broken. It's going to make the Bandit, who some people are already good at using the Bandit. I think it's going to make the Bandit possibly break the game. The Thrasher counters the Bandit, so the Thrasher might still be able to beat the Bandit, but only if you're really good at stun locking as a Thrasher, because if you just let the Thrasher get in any significant, because the Bandit can do some significant damage, well, you're gonna see that if you let him get that significant damage at the right time, the Bandit is going to just be unstoppable. So so you really have to stun lock him. So this is where it is. You need these things, which you can buy at the store or you get them in the season as well. So let's go over this guy first. When you get that experience, it levels up that first passive, but the 3 skills are unlocked by this growth serum, which you can get in the season and you can get in the shop. So you upgrade it, and the first skill buffs the Alchemist ability to get away. Basically it reduces the enemy's movement by 10%. When you upgrade it, it goes up to 12%. So that's pretty powerful. Yeah, that's okay. I don't think it's gonna change a lot of people playing the Alchemist, but let's go to the next one. So here you'll notice that it increases their attack speed by 10% and then 15%, which is very powerful. But again, I don't know if it's going to change the dynamic that much. I mean, honestly, with the Thor's Flask, this is going to be pretty fast attacking. So this might make the Alchemist play in, but as soon as the other, like the Occultist, gets their animals, I don't think it's going to play in that much. And then the last one is that if the Alchemist does not move for 3 seconds, it can get up to 4% more damage, and then up to 6%. You can get these books that you need to unlock the skills here in the season. What I'm a little confused for is it says required to train pet skill to level 4. This one says level 3. But then when you go in here to actually upgrade them, it looks like you need this one just to get that next level, even though this is level 1. It seems to skip, so this conceivably could be. So I'm a little confused by this. I don't know if this means that you could just keep leveling it, the skills, and so this 15% attack speed is smaller. I hope so. Not for this case. The Alchemist, I'm fine with it being more powerful, But then when you get into some of these other classes, these pets have really powerful skills. So this one is the second least powerful. This is working with the hunter. You'll notice that the mortal shot now doesn't just affect one player, but it reduces the healing of other players or other enemies around that player. And each time you upgrade that skill, it increases how many squares, the little, the squares when you build your base, that's a unit in Frostborn. And so you'll see that it's a little 1 unit around the player, and then it goes to 2 units, so it's like 4. I mean, it's a much bigger. That level 2 is way bigger. A radius of 2 is something like 4 times, almost 4 times the area of a radius of 1. So it's going to be a much bigger area to get that one right there. The next one is the slowing rune. The hunter puts out a little slowing rune. They walk through it. Now they deal 5 true damage a second, up to 6 damage a second, maybe more, hopefully not, or we'll see. And as they go through it, so that's pretty good to make them do some true damage while they're in there. If you pin someone, like if you're defending your base, you throw that slowing rune down and they're trying to run away, that might be pretty fantastic, being able to hit them while they're slow. They're also getting true damage done to them. Maybe you lock them into your base, I don't know. I think there's some potential there. And then the last one seems really powerful. Basically, when you're the hunter, if you start running for at least 1 second, you gain damage resistance, and it looks like you can get up to 10%, maybe more. That's a lot of damage resistance. That's half of a Jorgen helmet. So that's powerful, but the next 2 pets seem to be pretty OP. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the owl. The owl is good for the sorcerer. The sorcerer, numbers-wise, looks good. We don't see a lot of people playing the sorcerer, but actually now that the Alpha staff is out, we are starting to see some people play the sorcerer, because you throw down your blessing and you're doing 50% extra attack. You throw down your curse, you reduce their damage by half. It's pretty powerful. Well, now it's even more powerful. The owl increases or decreases your enemy's health by 5%. Now the curse does, and up to 10%. So you got 200 health. You throw that curse on them. Not only are they doing half damage, but you are also reduced that health down to 180. 400 health goes down to 10%. So 360. Anyways, you get the point. It reduces their health quite a bit. It functionally makes it to where you're doing almost 10% more damage, because let's say you do 36 damage to someone with 360 health when they're debuffed, and then they pop back up and they get their 400 health back, but they're really going to lose 40. So it's about 10% extra damage. So you're really, basically it's an extra 10% damage to that person, and they're losing that. So, but then this one's really big. You're already getting plus 50% attack damage to people, and now you get 5%, 9%, maybe more, I don't know, extra attack speed. So honestly, the sorcerer's going to do insane damage with this. You're really going to want to try to lock them up. But then you do all that work, you lock them up, and here's the crazy part. They become the Arc Sorcerer when they get this owl up to level 4. They now, instead of dying, get 20% of their health back for 5 seconds, which is annoying. But then you upgrade it to 30%. And here's where I feel like there might be a clue, and it might be a glitch, but there seems to be a clue that it actually keeps going, because when you click on this one, it's kind of glitched out, and it says you can get up to 50% of your maximum health. So I think that might be the max. And that's insane to be able to, someone finally kills you, and then you're like, just kidding, I got half my health back. And you're still doing the insane amount of damage that this allots for you. So I think that might be OP, but it's a sorcerer. So a lot of people don't play sorcerer in solo PvP with the Alpha staff. Some people are. I think with this, definitely there's going to be a lot of people playing it, and they're going to absolutely destroy people. But the sorcerer is kind of a glass cannon in that sense, that you don't really have a lot of movement, you don't have a lot of dispels. So I think that someone who's good at stun locking is still going to be able to, you do so much damage, but they're going to just lock you to the point that you're not able to do any damage. So this one they're gonna have to keep you locked even when you go through your shield. So we'll see. We'll see if it's enough to make the Sorcerer have a play. And then the last one that I personally think is very powerful is the Bandit, and that's because the Bandit's already got quite a bit of power. Like some people love the Bandit in solo PvP. The Thrasher does counter the Bandit, but if you're not good at stun locking, then the Bandit is great. And there's some classes the Bandit is better at fighting than even the Thrasher, or some classes that kind of counter the Thrasher, the Bandit counters them. So I think the Bandit's already really powerful, and they added 3 very powerful skills. One is now when you hit someone with your blinding rune, not only does it stun them for like 3 or 4 seconds, but now you can get up to 12 seconds of blinding that enemy, which means 30% of the time they're gonna just miss. So basically what that means is when you hit someone with the blinding rune, which is a very big area, if you're able to land that blinding rune shot on someone, then they have to dispel, because not only are they stunned, but even if they get over the stun, they're going to be blind for 12 seconds. They either need to dispel or run. The next Bandit skill is he gets a movement speed boost when he throws his daggers, which immobilizes an enemy. So that's usually when you run in and when I hit someone anyways is when you throw that. So being able to have 6 seconds of 10 and then 15% extra movement speed, just going to allow you to close that gap in. Ideally you're throwing that when you're already pretty close to them so you can get more hits, but maybe this will get in a little closer. But the real kicker, the one that I couldn't fathom seeing it, honestly, was the last skill, and that is a 20% lifesteal when they're immobilized. So if you've ever fought a good Bandit, someone who's really good at this game, they are really good at stunning you, kind of get you in place. Then they throw the throwing daggers or Ebola. They come up and they do a crazy amount of damage really quickly. Well, now they can get 20% of that crazy amount of damage back, and then when they upgrade it, they can get 40% of it back. That seems absolutely insane to me. Basically, if you let a Bandit get that move off on you, you're going to be dead and they're going to be at full health or close to it by the end of that fight. So that is everything you need to know about pets, and that is most of this update, but I'm going to show you a little bit more about this update. One thing is just the season itself. There is a new mount called the Fire Elemental. It looks really cool. I'm going to try to get it unlocked and show you guys its special skills that you can see here from the mount store, that the Fire Elemental here is does have this really cool skill, but unfortunately it has not been revealed yet what that skill is. So I'm going to try to get that unlocked, get that skill, and show it to you guys, but that is not in the game yet. You can see my little bat flying there next to me. It's cool having a pet. Honestly, I kind of like the whole pet thing. I just wish it wasn't so pay to win. Like I said, you can mark the bats. Here, I'll actually show you. See this treat for pets? I can increase 500% the experience gained in an active pet. So you can go here. You'll notice I just got my pet to 1200 experience. And then I can click here and I can click auto. I got 1200 more experience. But then when I go in, it doesn't show 1200. It shows 6,000. So it's 5. It's a multiplier of 5. It's not plus 500%. It's really plus 400%. But you guys get the point. It's a lot more, and so you can just mark those zones and max out those bats very quickly, or max out those things. Which, going back to this area, all of the animals are in the premium, and a lot of them are in the freemium. So you can see you got the owl, level 4. Like it literally, pretty much, you can get it almost right away. Which that's for the sorcerer. That's a good one. Then you go on for a little bit, and then at level 34 you get the parrot, which is for the hunter class. And then you go a little bit further, and at 45 the free to play version gets the owl And then you go a little bit further and you've got the last one, the bat. And I say the last one because you can't get the skeleton bat without buying it in the store. But it's the Alchemist, so I really don't think many people are going to be too upset about that, and they'll probably add it in a later season. And then you get the parrot in the free-to-play version, and then you get the new class, which that's another thing I haven't mentioned yet, which is very important. You can see all these books and ingots and some pretty cool stuff. You got the new weapons, which I already showed you guys last season. This sword and shield is super OP. It makes it does reduce your health by 6%, but like a protector, this makes it to where block 14 times 3, that's like 42 damage, that you block 50% of the time. It really makes a protector. I don't know. I'm sure there's some people that can kill it, but it's going to make a protector unbelievably difficult to kill. And then here's the last one of the free. Oh, you also got the combat staff. I don't know, actually, I didn't show you the combat staff last time, and I'll make another video showing how these things play out. But basically your spell damage, so the skills you use, is reduced by 15%. But every 7th shot with a 45-second cooldown, you get 15% of your maximum health as a shield. It's not that great, but here's the thing. It's got 77 DPS, and up until this point, we haven't had a combat staff with that high of damage. So it's going to make the fire mage do an insane amount of damage. So it might look lame, and it definitely makes your spells do lame. So the fire mage won't do as much damage with his stun, but that's not the main reason you use the stun anyways. You do it to do your attacks, your attack, and it only affects your spell. So it will not be a good weapon for the ice mage, probably because it's going to reduce your spell damage so much, but it will be a great weapon for the illusionist and fire mage. And then the dagger, I can't quite remember if that was in the last one or not, but I do think the dagger is, I don't think the dagger was in the last one. It was in my video. I showed you guys the dagger, but it's not. It's just now being added into the game. And personally, I think this is a dagger specifically for the Ripper class, because it increases your damage dealt, but decreases your attack speed just a little bit, and it decreases the attack speed of your opponent. So it's one of those things where it's like, you're trying to get that combo, get those stacks on them, so they just can't really compete with you. So that's the hope. And then there's also an ice fire mage, an ice fire elemental. I'm going to try to show you guys that too. So going back here to the new class, actually I'm going to go over here to show you the new class. The new class is a pretty cool concept. I don't know if it's OP or not. Basically, I'm gonna test it out. Really, you can't know until you test it out. But what we understand is it's a heavy armor specialization, so you got the best armor class, but you can have a shield, and you can throw that shield and do stun 4 people. So it seems pretty OP. 3-second stun, 2-second stun, 1/2 and 1, and then you do 100% of the active damage strike with that to all 4 people, with some reductions for each person you hit. So that's really powerful. There is a 50-second cooldown, thank goodness, but it's a pretty cool hit, and you don't get any bonuses to shield weapons. Okay, you can use them and use your skills, but you don't get any bonus damage with them. So you probably want to start out with it, and you're going to want to switch to the bow later on. But you also get this one, which again, I need to play this out for you guys, so I'm going to try to get this class unlocked. But you throw out a cone, and you can't take damage, you can't get stunned or really experience any control effects, and you get a 25% damage resistance for everything in that cone, except for damage over time. So it won't be good against a flask class might really decimate this class, but it's gonna make you kind of tanky in that direction. But then its passive is you can switch. So like one of your quick slots is going to be a bow. Switch over to the bow, and all of a sudden you've got 2 new skills. And again, we need to test, is there cooldown on them, or is it just instantly able to use those Basically, you can use 4 skills back to back. We're not sure. We're going to find that out. But it has 2 really cool skills. One is a knockback, which does 70% of active weapon damage and knocks all enemies back in a line. So how big that line is going to depend on how OP this is. And then the most incredible skill, in my opinion, the real damage dealer, the real, glass cannon. You got heavy armor, remember, is this, where basically you can't move as fast, okay? But your attack speed increases by 30%. And you ignore 30% of armor. It's only 5 seconds, but if you guys have ever used the Assassin Dagger, you know that ignoring 30% of armor is pretty incredible. And then to be able to have that 30% extra attack speed, that's not nothing. Now, your attack damage is not crazy high. I think it's going to be about plus 70% total once you're level 4. So this class may not be OP, but we have to just test it out to really truly understand. So I'm going to do that for you guys in a future video. So that's it. The quest that you can do in the Shaman's Camp is to do the season. The main thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to the zones. You're going to find a pedestal. Here, I'm going to show you the pedestal real quick, just so you know what it looks like. I really don't need to show you the zone. It's the same thing we see every season. You got the 3 NPCs. They say, hey, bring me this stuff. And so I'm going to show you guys a little bit how it is. I'm not going to get into it yet. One, because I don't think it's actually possible yet to get into these zones. There it is. Okay, so you see that little green mark? That is the pedestal. So this pedestal, you need to create the Hell's Amulet. That Hell's Amulet is important. The Enchanted Cord doesn't seem to be in the game yet. Or in this, I think they need to do a little update or something. We've checked a ton of chests and haven't found it, so it seems like it's not in the loot pool yet. So we'll work on that, and then and I'll show you that in a future video. But the Eye of Hell is easy to get. You just kill any boss in Frostborn, and you'll get it. And then you turn it into an amulet, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna run around looking for what looks like a tomb, but is not a tomb. Here we go. Nope, that's a normal tomb. Okay, so if it looks like a tomb from here, then it is a normal tomb. But we're gonna look for one that looks like a tomb on the mini map, but doesn't look like a normal tomb. Oh, also, while I'm showing it to you, there is it's too early to pick this mushroom. Okay, anyways, there's that too. That's new to this update. Oh, there's also a buff or a debuff at the Alfar's area, where when you fight it. Oh, here we go. All right, let's just kill these people. You can see my bats getting experience from everything I kill. So this right here is the crypt that we need to go into, but unfortunately I need that amulet to be able to get into it. One thing is when you leave this, it could be a different zone when you get back. So if you cleared everyone and you beat all the PvP and then you go in there, clear everything, get all the stuff you want, when you come out, you could be in a totally different zone. Keep that in mind. Don't get ganked. So that is an overview of everything in this update. But obviously there's a lot to this update that I want to show you guys. I want to unlock those pets, unlock the skills of those pets. I want to get the new class and show you guys how the skills actually play out. I want to do one of the tombs, obviously. That's a big part of this whole game. I want to see if there could be a PvP element inside of it, or if it's PvE inside that cursed tomb. So I'm going to get all of that information for you guys, and that will be in future videos. So make sure to subscribe, or even just for the next week, subscribe so that you can get those notifications, get all those videos. Each one will be dedicated to one of those different things, and I'm going to cover everything about this update. All right, guys. See you next time.